This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter. I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Wow. Let's try that again. Thank you, Lonnie. I had, wow. Thank you. My fans. Wednesday, start over again. Take two. I had a whole bunch of little bugs in the system minutes before we started. And I guess something just jumped and went back to preset. Are we cool now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Wednesday, right here, I can honestly say right now, as I sit here on the West Coast of the United States and having a sunny day with not a cloud in the sky and nearly 80-degree weather, there are people on the eastern coast or the west coast of the Gulf Coast in Florida that are not doing so well right now. Hurricane Milton, I'm sure, has touched the eye of the storm, has reached that Tampa area, and I'm sure that there are many people in fear for their lives right now because hurricanes are a bitch, but this one's more than just a bitch. This is a bad one. Lonnie, you got me now? So I'm not talking to myself because I didn't even think about, I'm telling you, it was one of those days. Can you hear me now? I feel for these people. There was a lot of people that, they say evacuate. They make, for those of you who aren't familiar, evacuate like it's, real simple to do, but it's not. It's not. Let me check one more thing here now that I'm paranoid and just make sure everything's not out of sync. Yes. Oh boy, my tracking is off. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. It was minutes before we started. Everything. This happens once in a while. Everything was going to hell. And I got to check. Now you got me paranoid. Are you hearing me? Can somebody comment and tell me whether you're hearing me or not? I'll tell you in a second. Oh, yeah, we got it. You got to hear. Lucky you. You can hear me. A lot of people, thank you. A lot of people don't realize, hurricanes, at least you get warning. Earthquakes, I don't like these earthquakes in California. They don't happen very often, just like hurricanes. Thank you, Nancy. Again, weird start this evening. Had my hands in a lot of places, worrying about this hurricane and the people down there, and had some technical things that are going on over here. And then all of a sudden, hey, it's showtime. Talk about down to the wire. But there's a lot of people there that, they say evacuate. I mean, yes, you have the time to evacuate. You do. You have days to know that they're going to say, hey, this is going to be beyond what you're normally used to. Because a lot of people, it's like, you can deal with it. We're built for it normally. We're not some third world country, but the water floods and things like that. We'll talk about the Carolinas and all that too. Lots to talk about tonight. Believe me. Stick around. I'm not playing. But hello, Michael. Let's just say people saying hello. Tell me, everybody, if you're a newbie, where you're watching from. I always like knowing that, because I just like knowing where my audience is at. It's changing rapidly. I was telling you last week that the audio podcast is number 2 in China, next to the United States. It's the second biggest country listening. So in other words, if there's 3 people listening to me in the United States, there's 2 listening to me in China. There's more than that, but you get my drift. It's like, how the hell is that happening? It's a big old world out there. Anyway, I'm going to get sidetracked a lot. There's so much stuff. These poor people that are trapped down there in the Tampa areas and all those other little cities and towns and barrier islands. You say evacuate, and all of a sudden the roads for hundreds of miles are just wall to wall. And then that's another problem. As you try to, hello from Massachusetts. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. I do. You have no idea how much people like you mean to me for paying attention. Please share and subscribe. But you can get, a lot of people don't have a lot of money. This is heartbreaking. This shit bothers me a lot. I don't know what. I mean, I do know why. A lot of people, you just can't, pack up your stuff and then spend hundreds of dollars in gasoline, and you need money for food, and you don't know. And a lot of people's transportation, their cars, who knows what, some people got vehicles that barely get them around town. Not everybody's that fortunate. And, you say evacuate, and a lot of people are elderly, sick, don't have anybody. It's bad. It's really bad. I have people personally that I know are down there, and they're not, I guess if you call me elderly, then they're about my age. But they're hanging it out. They're going to stick it out. Whip it out. They're hunkering down, and I'm a little bit worried. Normally I'm not, but I'm a little worried. A lot of people don't have the money to just jump and go. And then trying to go while millions of people are thinking the same thing. If you don't start ahead of time, and then there comes a point where they're just said, you know what? Don't. Just good luck. God bless you. Prayers. I'll see you after it's over. Hopefully in one piece. And it's really sad. So we're getting ready to find out. But God bless Governor Ron DeSantis. I was listening to him about an hour ago before the show started. And I mean, he at least has his act together. He at least prepares. He knows what it's going to take, and he's not waiting till last minute like our government did last week with the friggin' Hurricane Helena. He's got things in place. Now, he can't stop the damage from happening, but at least he has things in place for once they can get in there, they're prepared. Millions of gallons of gasoline. Can't remember how many linesmen he said. 55,000 linesmen. Even though they got people in the Carolinas and things like that, he still has 50, something like that, a lot. All kinds of resources, food, water. He has a plan. That's what you need to be when you're a leader. You need to have a plan, and you need to lead. I'm telling you, as we get into the show tonight, you're going to stick around, I hope, because I'm going to expose some of this stupidity that's going on and the people that some of you think are just amazing and are willing to put them in office again. And I'm sorry, I strongly disagree. And I'm going to show you why. But anyway, God bless these people, and prayers for the ones who are stuck there, who are definitely, and never mind losing the stuff, as if all that's not bad enough. Your house wherever you live, your personal, everything flooded, winds. The winds alone can kill you. Tornadoes. I pray that they, I don't know if anybody follows, but there's this guy that's getting a whole lot of attention on, I was watching him on TikTok. They call him Lieutenant Dan. It's a skinny little white guy who's on a sailboat somewhere in the Tampa area. And he's got no place to go, and he's got one leg. His spirits are up. He's confident, but they call him Lieutenant Dan, and he's getting all kinds of attention because these young kids have been documenting him getting ready and figuring out what he's going to do. He's going to ride the storm out on the sailboat, tied, near the town or whatever, but when the waters rise too much, he goes, well, at least I'm on top of the water. It's like, yeah, I guess you are, but we'll find out. If he makes it, he's got no place else to go. They've been sending donations, GoFundMes for him and stuff like that too. But again, when you're down there right now, where are you going to go? Everything is in shambles. There is no higher ground in Florida, unfortunately. God bless Ron DeSantis for being a leader, for going to be there to do probably as good as anyone can possibly do. The rest, I guess, is in God's hands. So prayers, please. Page 2. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I really do hope you'll share and subscribe. YouTube has been beating the shit out of me. TikTok, take down my videos. It's the censorship. We're going to talk about censorship tonight too, folks. So buckle up. I don't care. I really don't. If we start, people are starting to fall into all this stuff and conform, and we're doomed. Screw them. Screw them. I'm going to tell you why, though. At least I'll be able to tell you why. Most people just call me names that disagree with me, and that's it. They can't say anything. Whatever the news tells them. I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm telling you that I'm going to offer you some information, take your own mind, and use it to your benefit should you choose. If you're lazy, you'll just believe in what you believe in, and God bless you. That's all. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. Oh, yeah, one last thing. Forgot. When a bad hurricane is coming to Florida, when the Waffle House closes. And I got word that the Waffle House is closed in Tampa and the Fort Myers area. So those son of a guns don't close for nothing. Open 24/7, 7 days a week, hell or high water. Well, I guess it's higher water. The Waffle Houses in the Tampa area and the Fort Myers areas have waved the white flag saying, even we know when it's time to shut her down for a couple of days. Waffle House. That is probably the most extreme gauge of how bad a hurricane is by the Waffle House staying open or closing, because they don't close for nothing. They got balls of steel. Again, God bless them all. So please follow me, like, share. I need you to share, subscribe. I think if you're watching like on YouTube, there's a little red YouTube button. You can just hit that button and it just automatically subscribes you. It's free. If you're watching from my official Peter G Show page on Facebook, follow. But I appreciate if you go over to YouTube too, because they're killing me. I need more numbers over there. I do. I'm not backing down, but I need your help. Just go over there for a second and just hit the subscribe button. It'll notify you when the show is on. That's about it. It's free. Nobody's going to bug you. But I appreciate it. I do, because it's hard. And for those of you, I know it takes a lot of dedication to watch the show. Now, lately, I've been doing an hour and a half show because there's so many things to talk about, things that are important to you, to me, that I feel are important for you. But I need your help. I get it. It's hard to watch a show for an hour and a half, but you're driving in the car. Google Peter G Show podcast. Put an earbud in your ear, or listen on your iTunes, Spotify, all the streaming audio podcasts. It's gonna be one of those nights, folks. Started off, like I said, the last 2 minutes of the show, I'm in a frantic panic because things were going awry. Happens every once in a while, but I'm a professional. I'll rise above it. But listen to the show. Take the show on the road with you while you're walking, exercising, when you're at work. Work is boring. I'm a testament to that. I'm just not the average work guy. I have to be in this chaos. It's weird. We all have our purposes in life, right? Somebody's got to do it. Anyway, just subscribe, all right? Audio or watch the show visually, however. We're on 11 different video platforms, 25 or 26 different audio platforms. I'm all over the place. You can turn it on and turn it off on demand. I know there's many of you that like to watch the show live, and I truly appreciate that. I do. But if you miss it, you can always catch it after. You know, there's plenty of times. All right? Page 3. We're going to get into everything right now. And just well, not right now. I just led myself into the wrong direction. We're in a couple of minutes. But right now, I really want to talk and hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver. And then we'll be right back, and we're going to get into some deep stuff. All right? So I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. Clean Star Products. That DX1 driver works. I usually say 2 words. It works. But I can pretty much boil it down to 1. Works. I am a living testament to it. I use it myself. I wouldn't tell you it did if it didn't. I have a high mileage pickup that, you know, as you get older, you start to slow down a little bit, right? Think about it in human terms. You're just not as spry as you once were, but you still feel good. But, you know, put a cup of coffee in you and all of a sudden you just feel a little better. If you drink coffee, I don't drink coffee, but I'd say you can do some blow, but we don't do that no more, do we? Do we? No. You don't want to blow a gasket, throw a rod. You know what I mean? Thankful for the years you had, but now it's time to live life in moderation. But either way, I digress. You take this little bottle. It's real simple. This is for like a SUV and pickup truck. It's a little bit bigger, but for a regular car, it's just a little bitty bottle. You know, and it seems hard to believe, but you put one of these in the clean oil change. It lasts the whole oil change. And then every time you fuel up your tank, you put one of these little bottles in the fuel to mix with the whole tank of gas. I noticed the difference in my high mileage F-150 that I love. Within about 3 or 4 tanks, I could just tell that this big old heavy truck was just moving a lot easier when I start out. And even my daughter noticed it because she uses it a lot to go pick up hay for her horses. Hay for horses. Hay. Either way, it works. But here's what I want you to do. Don't believe me. I'm sure you got questions because these kind of things you go, oh, yeah, sure, okay. Go to www.cleanstarproducts. Go to their website. There's a phone number there. Here's what I do you right. You could tell them I sent you. There's a phone number there. Call that number if you have questions. Tyrone Thompson will answer your questions personally and ask him whatever you want to know. I mean, come on. I would if I was going to spend money into something I didn't know much about. He's proud of this product. This is his life. He's got a lot invested in this whole deal because, you know, he believes in it. And again, it works. Ask him whatever you want to ask him. Tell him you saw it on the Peter G Show. And should you decide to order, Tyrone's going to send you 5 bottles of the DX1 driver for the price of 4. I'm telling you, you're going to notice the difference. But just don't think you're going to put one in and go, oh, I don't feel it. That's just like, you know, medication for your body. A lot of these people think they're going to take something and it's going to, you know, instantly change things. It takes a little time, but, you know, 3-4 tanks of gas, that's not much. And then you're going to notice it. Then you're going to want to run this stuff in your car, you know, periodically to keep it all as efficient as possible. You're going to get better horsepower. You're going to get improved gas mileage, and your engine's going to get more lubricity. It's going to run smoother. I mean, come on, good food into your body, just like a car. You're just doing it for your car. Call that number. Ask Tyrone any kind of questions you want. Tell him you saw it on the Peter G Show, and if you decide to order, he's going to send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. That's a good deal. I'm Peter G, and I approve this message. Again, they know what I do, and they still sponsor me, so God bless them. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Time out. I hope you're all still watching. Please, please, please. I'm noticing I don't get to see it very often, but some of you are watching from the other Facebook pages, not the official Peter G Show page. I love you for watching. I do, but I can't see your comments. Or I can, but I have to go way out of my way to see it. And I can't see them on, as quickly. If you're talking to me or saying something, go to the official Peter G Show page, hit follow, or go even better to the YouTube and hit subscribe. And then boom, then I can see your comments live on the big screen that's in front of me that you can't see, but then I can see everything right from there and not after the show is over and go, damn, I wish I would have seen that. Again, if you're a newbie, tell me where you are watching from. Just comment on the YouTube or the official Peter G Show Facebook comments or the LinkedIn Peter G Show comments, and I can see them right away and say where you're from. All right, let's take a drink. Let's get ready because this is going to be another. I think all my shows are going to be a little bit deep and meaningful. But prayers to the people in the Florida area and their families and everything. I dread to hear what tomorrow's outcome will be, but such is life. Salute. Ooh. Smooth. We're not all fortunate to be sitting safe in our homes right now. In many different ways. People all over the world suffer. It sucks. That's why we have to get this country back in order. And I want to get into that tonight. Anyway, I just talked about what's happening right now with Hurricane Milton. But I want to talk about 11 days ago, I believe it was 11 days ago, Hurricane Helena. There's a lot of people. Now, you can watch the news and you can hear that our current administration is saying that everything is honky-dory and they have everything under control and the people are happy and they're getting all they need and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you, stop watching the news and believing everything you hear. Especially those of you who watch CNN, top of the notch MSNBC, the worst. And you can tell me I'm wrong, and you can say Fox is horrible and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about the main culprits. They're not telling you the truth. If you had a business and your business was running sucky, you're not going to want to say bad things about the business. You're going to just say, no, everything's great. Everything's going real well. We're good. Well, think of MSNBC and CNN and all that as publicity managers, because that's exactly what they are. And things aren't going good. And how do I know this? Because I find a lot of other ways to hear things because of social media is so large, and I just weigh the odds. If one person says, one real person that's like a resident of the area says, hey, everything is great, I'm going to go find 10 of them and figure out between 10 people what's going on. And I'm finding that things aren't so great. And I rather listen to people on the ground, real live people, and weigh the odds than what the media is telling me. I'm not even telling you to believe me. I'm just trying to open your mind and your eyes saying, don't believe everything you hear, including me. Get out there and find for yourself. Believe me, it's worth it because you're going to start being really shocked. For those of you who are semi-delusional, who call me names and things like that, I don't care what you think of me. I don't. I love you, but that's your opinion. You can have an opinion. I got somebody who's an acquaintance for many, many years who chimed in the other day. And he says, Peter, stop lying. It's like, I'm not lying. He's lying to himself because he's believing in the Titanic because It's anybody but the orange man syndrome. And I don't want to tell him off, but I don't owe him anything. I'm doing this for the people who have some common sense and decency that are willing to listen and might actually take what I say and further the investigation. And I don't want you to spend 1 million hours down a rabbit hole. I don't go down rabbit holes, but I dig a little deeper than whatever I happen to turn on the TV. And just because they said it, I'll tell you this, MSNBC, I'm sorry. That Joe Scarborough, I think he's probably enemy number one, as in piece of crap. If you call himself a broadcaster, how that man gets up every day and just spews lies out of his mouth and feels good about it and sleeps at night, beyond me. And if any of you are fans, well, you get what you get. Someday he's going to have to answer. And I'm finding out this Joe Scarborough guy, where is he? I'm finding out that he's from the same area where I'm from. And I never knew that. But I'm sorry. Yeah, just the tone of his voice and his belief that he really believes. This one right here, this little bitch. He is. They pay him to say whatever they tell him to say, and he proudly says it. And it's like, shame on you, shame on you. One day it's all going to come out, and you belong to live under a bridge. It's horrible. I could never do that. I could never do that. I just don't have that. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. I'm just not that low. But he'll answer for it someday. He'll answer for it someday. But anyway, they are, and I'll show you. I'm going to back all this up. I'm not just going to make all this stuff up. You're going to hear it from other people and how they got it. Okay. But FEMA, so let's go back to FEMA. But MSNBC and all these, and CNN's starting to get a little bit, they're losing their ass. So they're having to start telling the truth a lot more now. They're having to, because they're seeing a dumpster fire going on the Democratic end. And again, don't give me shit about being about Democrats. I was a Democrat years ago. But when I see that ship going awry, the Democratic Party is radicalized. I don't know what's going on. It's like, I'm not that crazy. I'm not going to believe in that shit just because I'm a Democrat. I got a good feel for my wallet, how things are going and how the world is looking, what's going on. And if you want to stay in that department, go right ahead. This is America. So far, they haven't taken away all our freedoms. They're working on it though. And it's going to be because of you guys that there's a possibility of losing it, but we're not going to let that happen. Not going to let that happen. And I'm sorry. I don't even want to say I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I just common sense. Common friggin' sense. I'm going to go wherever I see is best for myself, my family, and my friends in the country, the way I feel. Period. And you should too. But a lot of these people still have that you're dedicated, because you're part of the party, and it used to be, it was great, and we're going to make it great. It's great. And they're true and blue, but screw it. I want the orange man. I do. The orange man's tough. I don't care because he offends you. He's going to get rid of all this corruption and all this crap and straighten this place out. They're in such fear. They've tried to kill him twice, and they're going to still continue to try to kill him. That's how you know you got somebody good. Here's the thing on FEMA. There was a thing going around on the news. Well, no, not on the news. That FEMA had given away $1 billion out of the FEMA fund. That this money should have gone to hurricanes and all these kind of emergencies and things like that. And rumors started going around that they blew all this money. They blew over $1 billion with a B dollars to all our illegal immigrants, giving that money through Homeland Security, because FEMA's part of Homeland Security and all that. They diverted all those funds to put illegal immigrants in hotels, give them free cell phones, free health care, for debit cards, for cash, for food. And that's where all our money went. And then I got some of these people, they're in denial. Show me where. No, they didn't do that. And then, of course, you get FEMA on interviews. Again, back to if you have a business, are you going to say how crappy your business is running? No. FEMA comes on the news and, they lied. You know, we know that money was not given away and blah, blah, blah. Then why did Mayorkas come on and say that, you know, we don't have enough money to support another hurricane? He kind of blew it. Plus, I have people that are going to show you proof that they have. The bottom line is, people, the bottom line is, and Peter Ducey's going to say this too, this is your money. We're giving away our money to every single other friggin' country to take care of them, and now we need to take care of our own, and we can't. It's an emergency. We're not just, hey, buddy, here's, you know, no, it's an emergency, and we can't. We will somehow, thank to the goodness of, you know, regular people making up the difference, but that's pathetic. It's friggin' pathetic. Now check this out, because again, I'm not telling you or asking you to believe me. I'm merely pointing it out because I didn't get into because I didn't answer somebody. I had made the mistake of replying to once in a while I read a comment. And I told this lady, I said, get your head out of the sand. FEMA gave away our money to another portion of Homeland Security to take care of all these illegal immigrants, and now we don't have money. And that started a whole friggin' fight. And I don't have time for this crap. I don't have time for the ignorance. I don't. Check this out. Here we go.
Speaking of not a good look, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, who oversees the Border Patrol, the Secret Service, and FEMA, was spotted shopping over the weekend at a luxury men's store in Georgetown, shopping for designer suits, while the Southeast is still crippled from Helene. While Mayorkas is buying $800 cardigans, FEMA's broke.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Well, where'd the money go? More than $1 billion went to welcoming Biden's migrants. Now, the White House says that's not true, but we have the tape and the binder.
Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Okay, so she lied. FEMA's response hasn't been great, but FEMA says you're not allowed to criticize them because it hurts their feelings.
It has a tremendous impact on the comfort level of our own employees. And when you have this dangerous rhetoric like you're hearing, it creates fear in our own employees.
Aw, it does? People lost their homes and their husbands, and FEMA's worried about hurt feelings. Well, this makes sense because FEMA's gone full DEI, even admitting their rescue agenda is focused on sex.
LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already are struggling. They already have their own things to deal with. So you add a disaster on top of that, it's just compounding on itself.
The shift that we're seeing right now is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles where everything is designed for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people to disaster equity.
Disaster equity. I don't care who's more underwater. Straights, you're on your own. Gays and lesbians, you get saved first. They just admitted they don't want to help as many people as possible, as efficiently as possible. They want to help the right kind of people first. Here's how things stand in North Carolina. FEMA abandons devastated North Carolina town residents because it can't drive around roads closed sign. Nobody's been bringing in supplies except civilians. So FEMA won't help Americans because they can't drive around a road closed sign, but they have no problems helping migrants who broke into this country. They got thousands of dollars on gift cards. They live in luxury hotels. They even get free cells. But Americans can't depend on the government that they pay for. They have to depend on each other.
I see them around. I don't know exactly who's doing what. Seems like most of the food is coming from civilians that are volunteering.
I have friends up that way, have family up that way, and there is no response. It's more of the community itself coming together as a whole.
I think it's very disappointing, you know, that there's been such a delay in getting the help that this community needs.
We don't know the scale yet, so we want the world to know that there's still a lot left unknown here.
On top of that, only 9% of FEMA's personnel are around to help with Hurricane Milton, a Cat 5 heading this way. Who's worse, FEMA or the Secret Service? It's like a coin toss now. And how is it that Biden and Harris can send money overseas faster than they can send it to our own citizens?
President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everybody.
I'm taking my binder and I'm going home. Americans are furious, but Kamala thinks she's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah. FEMA is changing rapidly. Their roles, people that you should be able to love and trust, they're here to help you. Things are changing. This is like, I'm really starting to feel like we're going to get into Lahaina 2.0. And if I start finding out, we're going to talk about that in a minute too. I start finding out that this is getting fishy about why this happened and where it happened and how it's happening for what reasons. Well, we're going to do more shows and I'm going to dig deeper. But FEMA, basically with diversity, it's more important that you help the transgender person because it's bad enough he's got problems being transgender, but on top of that, there's an emergency. What the hell's the difference? An emergency is an emergency. People need help. Elderly, handicapped, disabled. People's houses washed down the friggin', can't say that enough. It's like, you remember this video? Yeah, here, real quick little taste.
I really don't think y'all understand how bad it is in the Southeast right now. We have towns that don't exist anymore. Chimney Rock is gone. The city of Asheville is cut off from the world. This is not an exaggeration. All the bridges leading into the city have been washed away. They have no food, no power, no water, no internet, no cell service. They don't even have radio. It's a complete dead zone. No one knows what's going on in there. I don't think I'm being dramatic when I say that this is a Hurricane Katrina level event. There was a woman in my town who called for an ambulance and the ambulance got stranded. And they were stranded for 24 hours and to my knowledge the patient didn't make it. People are...
I think you get my drift. It's bad. It was bad. It's still bad. People lost everything. People are missing. Never to be found, buried in mud, debris. And FEMA's supposed to help. And these people are pissed. But for a second, let's go back to the thing about the money being spent, because this has been a big issue. I mean, I had people fighting. I love watching when I make the short clips through the week. Then there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people arguing amongst themselves, which is healthy, about the issue that I make the little clip from. And some of these people is like, no way, FEMA didn't do that. You're just a typical, Republican, or it's like, whatever. Here's Peter Ducey, because he was asking about that with Jean-Pierre. And here's him proving that that money was diverted and it's gone to the illegal immigrants instead of our own people, and that's why we're short on cash right now. Check this out.
Peter Ducey here, outside the West Wing of the White House, where this week, one of my questions about foreign aid versus hurricane relief was called misinformation.
President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
I've got the information right here. The vice president is posting on social media about $157 million in additional assistance to the people of Lebanon. President Biden is posting about how the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program is going to run out of funding if Congress does not come back. To a lot of people watching these briefings, a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar. That is not misinformation. That is a fact.
He's got a point there. It's your money, is what he's saying. It's your money, and you can't get your money when you need help because they're giving it to some criminal that was released out of a jail in Venezuela who's living high on the hog in some hotel that these displaced people can't go to because of they're already full with migrants. I get it. Back in the beginning, they sold it like they were helping people to come into this country for a better life. But it's more than that. The cartels are running this joint now. Now they're bringing in everybody, including more cartels. It's this whole country has in every state. Cartels are establishing themselves in every state of this country. And if you're not feeling it now, you're going to, because they don't have good intentions. And you can say, oh, Peter, you're full of crap. It's like, okay, I hope to God you don't have to find out. But unfortunately, people are finding out because they already have been, murdered. And then these people get caught. And it's like they're pieces of crap that we let into this country. They weren't vetted. While you have good people that are waiting 5 years to try to be legally brought into this country, these people just walk across with a gift basket. And hey, go commit crimes. We don't care. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to brush it under the rug. Get it together, people. This all happened because of who has been running this country this past 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And you could tell me that and put the blame on the orange man all you want. Wake up. Nobody's been stricter, and we need him back to get things back in shape. We need to just quit screwing around. I'm tired of it. I don't care what you think of me. Maybe someday you'll have the guts enough when you realize and say, all right, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't get it then. I realize it now. I was that way. I didn't think so. I've told the story many times. I thought Obama was going to be okay. I found out in the third quarter that he really was not for our cause. He just played it really good and made you feel like everything was good. It's good. See, the problem is like these people, our current, president and vice president, they're not that smooth. They just wanted some dumb puppets in there for the people in the background are pulling the strings. And that sounds unbelievable too, right? There's no leadership there. They're just doing what they're told and they look really dumb doing it. And people figured it out. Most people. Anyway, back to the hurricane. There's people now on the ground over there in the Carolinas that they're fed up. I mean, you don't have to believe me. I don't want you. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm just giving you direction. But there's people in the Carolinas that are going to tell it like it is. And this is from law enforcement over there. They know. They're boots on the ground. So here, don't believe me? Hear it from the horse's mouth.
I was going to say something about Biden and Harris.
Yes, what were you going to say? Oh.
But I don't like to curse. I'm scared there'll be little ears listening.
Well, and you've been up here. You've been up here for how long?
Just 2 days.
2 days?
Sheriff hadn't left, and he's doing a fantastic job. So.
That's right. I mean, Sheriff, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for all you do. I'm going to definitely get this up on social media, and we're going live tonight with Sean Hannity. But if you had a message for the White House and how they've handled the situation up here in North Carolina, what would your message be, Sheriff Wright?
If you're going to do the things you've been talking about doing, we just assume you stay out of the way and let the good men and women around the mountain area and the foothills take care of our own, because you're nothing more than a boat anchor.
No help. FEMA hasn't been helpful.
Wait a minute. That lady that's running for president talks about the $750. What about all that money you give to Ukraine and all these other people that really want to kill us, don't want to do anything to help us? Why don't you just give that money to them? That's who you want to give it to begin with.
And a lot of people have been turned down for the $750. Almost everybody I've spoken to hasn't received any of the funding. and they've been turned down for personal items.
Well, they talked about get on your phone or your computer. Do you not see what the devastation is? They don't have a phone or a computer.
There's nothing up here. There's no communication. I'm going to be posting this later. There's no way to access the internet unless you have a Starlink net. And everybody's...
Thank you, Elon Musk, by the way.
Oh, yes.
So
Thank you,
come
Elon
send
Musk.
President Donald Trump, we need you.
What are the... Yes, that's a message for you, President Trump. And I was going to ask you, what are the most affected areas that you've seen? Is this pretty much ground zero from what you've seen, or can you...
I think that'd be better for the sheriff here to answer for sure, because he knows this county a lot better than I do.
Here in Rutherford County, what are the most affected areas?
Almost certainly. Lake Lure and Chimney Rock is the most affected areas. We've had...
I mean, we're here in Chimney Rock, and I know they've been cleaning. What was Chimney Rock? What was
lower in the county, we've had a lot of damage, but nothing of this magnitude here.
This has just been devastating, and the people, for all of you out there, whatever you can do, whether it's Samaritan's Purse, whether you live in the area, Samaritan's Purse is...
Cut off of it. All these other people, they do useless as piss on a blog.
So Samaritan's Purse, that's it. Samaritan's Purse, come out here if they need. I heard you need more hands, more help, more manpower in some areas. So if you're living out in the area and you have special skills and you can help.
Let me tag on to that.
Okay.
Don't just show up saying I want to help. You get in touch with somebody and get some. They'll give you a code. They'll give you a person to be in contact with, because we know you want to help. But we have to vet you, because there's stuff laying around here that people's worked all their life for. I can't just let a stranger, we can't let a stranger come in here and just walk up and down the street.
They don't want looters.
We're not going to have looters. If you come over here and loot, just like in Spartanburg, you're not going to like us at all.
Don't come here and loot.
Rutherford County.
Don't come to Rutherford County if you're going to loot.
Don't bypass Rutherford and go to Spartanburg or Greenville County either, because we ain't going to tolerate you either.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me. I'll be back out here tomorrow.
You might, he sounds like a good old boy. But I rather believe him and trust in him. When push comes to shove, who would you rather save your life? He wasn't having it. He's not having the bullshit. He knows. The bureaucracy and the red tape and the FEMA. FEMA's not what FEMA used to be. I mean, they just, again, need to clean house with all these letter organizations and start afresh. Need a boss back in charge, because all they're doing is giving money to all their friends and cohorts, and we the people are just suffering. It's getting worse and worse. Worse and worse. But what do I know? I want to talk about I'm going to backtrack, but this is a FEMA related subject. But we're going to talk about, and I hope this doesn't get me shut down. The old, remember a few years ago when they wanted to give you, and so many of you got it, a lot of people regret it, and some people still believe very strongly in it, which is really ridiculous, but everybody's got a path in life. But remember when they gave you the old Jabberini? Well, that's over with now, right? We've overcome that stupidity. I mean, they scared everybody really good, so I'm not blaming you. They sold it well. And people, perished from it, blah, blah, blah. I beg to differ. It's a whole different show that I can't do, unfortunately, because of censorship. And we'll talk about censorship tonight. Because they don't want it out. The truth is out there, and they don't want it told. But they're still spending money on the old Jabberini. And I don't mean a little bit of money, but here's a quick little blip of what they've already given out. Your money is going to this crap, because they're still pushing it and giving it out, and the government gets the money to buy the pharmaceutical old Jabberini, and then the pharmaceuticals make all the money for selling the old Jabberini, and they're all happy as hell, making gazillions of dollars. But check this out.
You're going to love this. FEMA spent $4 billion on COVID relief last month, September of 2024. COVID ended like a year ago. How is that even possible? I couldn't fit the whole screenshot in here, but here's this, and then here's how much they spent. That's in millions. So you know all those Republicans that wanted to defund FEMA? This is one of the reasons.
Did he just say $4 billion last month? Again, if he's showing you the papers, I'm sure the papers are out there. But nobody will ever go look. But that's your money. That's your money. $4 billion. Forget that we're giving everything to Ukraine. Forget that we're paying the Taliban billions of dollars and millions of dollars to the families that we killed these terrorists, and now we're paying them money? Stuff that you don't hear about. It's all our money. It's your money. Whether you're rich or poor, whether it's $10 or $10 million, it means a lot to you. That's just one example. And again, why do I think that whole 3-year period eventually was found to be a scam? Because they flat out are saying it. They're flat out saying that it was all a test. I showed you several weeks ago that the WHO said it was a test. It's on their website, but you won't go look. Tim Kramer pointed it out, showed you a video of it, that they were trying to see if they could get the whole world to drop to its knees to conform. All new world order, one world order, whatever you want to call it. They almost succeeded. And they're still in the running if we don't stop this nonsense. Not that many of them, these holier than thou assholes. But you're falling into it. George Soros just the other day, what did he buy? Over 200 radio stations? He wants to just propagandize the whole country. Soros. He's going to buy these radio stations so he can keep pumping into your head anything that he wants you to believe in. And you're going to believe it. It's called brainwashing. Never believed in it, but it actually works. For some, not for all. I'm trying to spare you and your families to wake up. But here, this is one of your glorious leaders, one of our glorious leaders, admitting that the old Jabberini, they had no idea what it was going to do. So they just told you it was safe and did it anyway. Don't believe me? Here we go.
Safe, effective vaccines in record time is an unbelievable achievement. And yet, despite the fact that we've now essentially clinically tested the vaccine on billions of people worldwide, essentially clinically tested the vaccine on billions of people worldwide.
Save this video before it gets taken down. He just told you they essentially clinically tested it on billions of people. What more do you want? That wasn't taken out of context either. As many things get done to the orange man. They'll take a piece of video, chop it up, and make it sound completely different than what he actually says. They flat out can say it now, and you people still buy into this crap. That's what I'm saying. Well, not everybody. Again, I'm sure, thank God, that there's, everybody's slowly coming around because this stuff is getting old. This is getting old. They have a sinking ship. Our administration is a sinking ship, and they are taking on water more. They're just burying themselves because they don't have it together. They don't have it together. They don't have it in our best interests, and it's just blatantly obvious now. Too much social media. They just can't hide it. So it's up to you to quit falling for the baloney. But again, I got a lot of people who are just like this. They are just like this. And it's, Peter, you're stupid, Peter. I'm stupid. We will see. We will see. Anyway, let's talk about, I wanted to take some calls tonight, but I just got so much stuff. Should I take calls tonight or should I not? Let me know in the comments. But I mean, if I open up the phone lines, somebody's got to call. Talk about whatever you want, about the hurricanes, about what I'm talking about. Right now, I'm going to move on to, but I'll if I see some comments saying, yeah, I'll call in, then I'll open it up. But I got videos I want to show you too. I want to talk about censorship because they're blatantly flat out telling you this too, and you people just aren't getting it. But here's Tim Kramer. Once again, God bless Tim Kramer. He digs, he finds this stuff, and he puts it out there. Hillary Clinton flat out telling you, if we can't control you, we can't do what we want to do. How much more in English do you want than that? Check it out.
When rich and powerful people say the quiet part out loud, you should listen.
If they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control.
Did you get that? If you and I have free speech, they lose control. Here, I'll play it for you again.
The platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And
like I said, when rich, powerful people tell you what they're going to do to you, you should listen.
You're watching the Kramer Says Project.
Thank you, Tim Kramer. Do you hear her? You hear what she says? If they can't moderate it, they want the Facebooks and the YouTubes, and YouTube's doing a pretty good job of it. They haven't let up, I'm telling you, because I'm catching the blunt of it. And again, if this show, so I didn't want to play those last couple of clips about the old Jabberini, but I felt it was my duty to. You know, like I'm on 10 other different platforms. Those will go through more than likely, but you know, I want to stay relevant on the old tube to catch those people that, you know, are sitting on the fence. I need to wake them up, hopefully. She flat out says it. They want to control us. If you are born a child and was raised by two people that spoke Hungarian, that's all you're ever going to know. And whatever those two people tell you as you're growing up, that's all you're ever going to know. And that's what they're trying to do to us now. They're dumbing us down by feeding us only through the radio waves and the, you know, content and streams and news, telling us only what they want us to know. They're dumbing down America. They are truly doing it. And I got to tell you, for a good part of it, it's working. A lot of people ain't having it. And we need to stick together. Because eventually, the ones that never could put it together will come around and will thank us. They just haven't felt it yet. But here, don't believe me? Here's this douchebag, John Kerry. He's another one. This one, well, listen to him first, and then we'll talk about him. This guy ran for president years ago, and I thought he was going to be like a good, strong guy. But he is really, he's right up the WHO's ass and Soros and all them. He's right up their ass. So here, check this out.
John Kerry just admitted that he dislikes free speech and democracy because it makes people too hard to govern, that people choosing their own news sources online is a big problem, since they can no longer tell us easily what's fact or fiction anymore, and that this election's about breaking this American fever by getting the VP into office.
Dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. People go and then people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's no, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. Our First Amendment stands as a major block. Our First Amendment stands as a major block. What we need is to win the right to govern, having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change. I think democracies are very challenged right now and have not proven they can move fast enough or big enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing. And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about. Will we break the fever in the United States?
For some of you who may not understand this, let me break it down for you. What he's saying is it's really getting harder and harder for the evil, corrupt agent, they're not an agency, letter organizations who have self-appointed themselves as kings of what you should do and know better than all of you. It's getting harder for them to shove all their bullshit down your throat. It's really getting difficult because there's so many different places to find the truth And they don't like that because they don't want you to know the truth. They want to be able to shove their bullshit down your throat, and you feel really good about it because that's what they want you to believe. So he wants to take away the First Amendment, freedom of speech, because it's making it too difficult for them to round you up like a herd of sheep and lead you to slaughter. Comprende? If I was just the one telling you that he said that, you have every right to go, Peter, you're just an idiot. You're full of shit. You're an idiot. Those are his words. That's his mouth. That's his big, ugly face. And that's no AI. That's going to be a problem, too, with the AI stuff. But that's him. That is him. And he is the worst when it comes to preaching about climate change and scaring the shit out of you and telling you what you need to get rid of and what you need to not be driving and all this kind of stuff. He is the one, the climate czar. He's doing about as good a job as Kamala did with the border. But he's right up there. He's got a seat next to the throne with the Soros throne and the WHO and all those people that know better, that want to have this new world order and just have the worker bees. And we will tell you when you can eat, what you can eat, how much you can eat, where to go, how long you can be there for, and if you can be there, and what to drive. And if you don't like it, we're going to punish you. We'll electronically cut off your resources, whether it be your money electronically or your cars electrically. And then what? You're starved out. You conform. It's amazing when you don't have it to break you to say yes. That's exactly what they're doing. They want to do. The 2030 agenda. That's what they were hoping for by 2030. We could kick their asses now, and maybe it'll take them another 50 or 70 years before they could try to pull this bullshit again. Don't believe me? Here's a little bit more of this douchebag, John Kerry, climate czar. Check it out.
There's really no polite way to put it. The climate crisis is killing people. It is knowingly, wittingly allowing people to die and infecting them with disease and providing them with air that kills people because we're not willing to take the steps necessary to do what we know we need to do. And every year now, millions of people around this planet are dying because fossil fuel and methane emissions, called greenhouse gas pollution. Those methane emissions and CO2 emissions and nitrous oxide and other emissions are escaping into the atmosphere, being fed by the way in which we continue to choose to fuel our vehicles, propel our vehicles, heat our homes, light our factories, and so forth.
Says the guy who flies around on a jet all the time preaching all this nonsense. Did you see the room he was sitting in? You see that room? Here, take a real quick look one more time. Just take a look at the room behind him. It's just not, I mean, it's not a huge room, but just take a look.
There's really no polite way to put it.
It's a quality looking room. It's all wood. All the walls are wood. I'm betting that there's a really nice house attached to that room. And he's probably got several houses. And you got this asshole going to tell you not to heat your home, not to eat meat, what to drive while he's driving around on a jet. And he says, well, it's necessary because he's important. He's important. He's got to go do this stuff. It's for your benefit. So we can scare you some more. I don't doubt that there's climate change. I can get, that's a whole new show. That's a whole nother show, which I've been saving up for a good day. Climate is always going to change. It has always changed, but it has never gone away. This planet has been here for a gazillion years. It was here before us. It'll be here after us. I'm waiting for them to blame these hurricanes on climate change now. You know, they're seeding the clouds. That's the theory. They've been doing it since Vietnam, and they've probably gotten a lot better at it now. To prove a point. Dubai. Don't believe me? I played a video back a few months ago about Dubai. Dubai started seeding their clouds, and all of a sudden they had torrential floods. They overdid it. I guess they need to work on that. It destroyed shops, buildings, flooded out their airports because they don't get rain. So they wanted to, I understand technology. They want to, they want to see if they can, make that desert into green or give it some water. I get that. But they overdid it. And they screwed up big time. I played that video a few months ago. It was on one of the shows. But don't tell me that they're not doing it. It doesn't happen. And there's not a lot of sneaky stuff going on. There's a lot of sneaky stuff going on. And we're going to get into that. I'm telling you, this whole Carolinas with Chimney Rock and all that, and there's talk about the lithium and quartz mines up in those hills that are very valuable because quartz goes into about every chip that is being made. It's beyond, it'll be the richest investment, the richest find in the world to date up in those hills. And all of a sudden, everybody gets wiped out of those hills. I'm not going to say this is what happened yet. I'm going to dig a little deeper. Lahaina, I did 6 shows about Lahaina because I am truly a believer that wasn't no accident. I'm just not going to buy into this crap. Accidents do happen, but it's a lot of evil in the world right now. Anyway, he's an idiot. And he's holier than thou. He's one of those holier than thous, and he's got multiple houses and jets, and he's going to tell you can't use a gas stove. I promise you, he's eating as good as anybody in life can possibly live a life, and he's going to tell you better not do it. And he's not going to stop. No, he can't stop because he's important. He's got to go out and preach this message. We don't need him. We don't need him. We don't need him. Where are we at? Page 4. Let's see what's going on here. You guys still watching? What David say? David Quigley, thank you for putting out putting the truth out there. Thank you. It depends who you ask. I'm trying. It's just a matter of opinion. You need to help me spread the word, though. Share. I hope you're subscribed. Hope you follow and share. I can't do it. They're putting their thumb on my streaming neck, and I can preach all day long or bring this to your attention all day long. But if it doesn't get out there because of algorithms and not enough people seeing it, it's like, what good is it going to do? And that's exactly what they're doing to me. I need to find ways to get out there bigger, better. And that is by you helping me get out there. You, the people. But thank you for watching, David. Where are you from? I want to know where you people are watching from. Last week, after the show was over, my Facebook Live page show just disappeared. And it wiped out all the information of all the people. There was probably 400 or 500 people on that page watching. But it wiped out all. And then it came back like a day later with no information. First time that happened in a long time. Anyway, okay, let's talk about lying. Let's talk about lying. Let's talk about our administration and the news and how they lie. How about that? I know you love, a lot of people love when I do this. Sorry, I'm getting parched. Hang on. Again, prayers for the people over there in the Tampa, South Florida area who are getting pummeled right now while I spew the truth, my version of the truth. They're fighting for their lives right now. It sucks. But hopefully they'll all come through tomorrow. I just can't help it. Somebody's got to stick up for somebody. I'm nothing special. I'm just at a point in my life where it's like, this is ridiculous. I have a child that's growing up. We have children. What's going to happen to them? Do you care? I know there's many of you that do. I do. I care about mine and yours because they all got to play together. They all need to be brought up with some brains, and they are not raising kids and teaching kids properly in schools. We have a bunch of dumbasses. I played your videos last week. Kids can't even tell what the time is on a clock with hands. Now, I'll cut you some slack. At least they got digital clocks, but some of the simplest questions, just name 5 states. These people are in their late teens, early 20s. They can't name 5 states. It's just sad. We get what we get, people. You got to quit worrying about saying something and upsetting anybody who doesn't believe what you believe in. It's for their own good. It's tough love. Sometimes the truth hurts. But if you mean well and your heart's in the right place, you got to do what you got to do. Staying silent is going to get us all pushed off that cliff. Let's talk about the. I was talking earlier about MSNBC and how they are. I just don't like anything they put out because I believe that they are nothing but a publicity firm now for our current administration. And here's some living proof that was done by some people undercover talking to a producer from MSNBC, drinking a glass of wine with some girl who he probably thought he was going to get laid or something. And he just started having some wine and loosening up, and she's asking him questions, and he volunteered the truth about how they are lying to make everything sound like it's great for our current administration. Here you go.
There's really no polite way to put.
No, that's not here you go, because I can't hit the right button. But here you go. Take 2.
James O'Keefe, he was on the show the other day of now OMG Media, went undercover through one of his staffers, a female staffer, and got this producer for one of their weekend shows on camera. I mean, it's admitting the obvious. We all knew this about MSNBC, but it's still interesting to hear a producer at the network admit it, saying the following. Watch.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is why?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes. Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes. They've made their viewers dumber over the years. Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats.
Because they're so brainwashed.
Yes.
Into thinking that the Democratic Party can do no wrong.
Not that they can't do any wrong. It's maybe they can do wrong. I just don't want to hear about it. Don't say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, it helps Trump.
What more do you want me to show you? What more do you want me to show you? But yet you'll watch these pieces of crap. You'll watch this guy, she, her, and you'll watch this guy, he, him, and you'll listen to their hatred, and they'll read and talk about whatever is put in front of them shamelessly. And there's a place in hell for them. And you'll watch MSNBC and you'll believe every single word they're telling you. The orange man bad, because they're telling you they have gotten you conditioned. You heard it himself. They've made their audiences dumber. Those are his words, not mine. They dumbed down their audience and got them to trust their network through and through to believe whatever they say. And again, I don't hold it against a lot of you. A lot of you are friends of mine, or at least I feel you are. I don't know what you think of me anymore. But I'm not going to hold this against you because they sold it really good. They got you to trust them, to believe in them. But they flat out, you're hearing it from one of the producers of MSNBC News, telling you that they are totally a mouthpiece. And they're going to do whatever they got to do to make that message heard. Look, I'm going to play it one more time. One more time. For those of you who didn't understand, okay? One more time. You're welcome.
James O'Keefe, he was on the show the other day of now OMG Media, went undercover through one of his staffers, a female staffer, and got this producer for one of their weekend shows on camera. I mean, it's admitting the obvious. We all knew this about MSNBC, but it's still interesting to hear a producer at the network admit it, saying the following. Watch.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is why?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes. Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes. They've made their viewers dumber over the years. Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats.
Because they're so brainwashed.
Yes.
And
Is that enough? They've made their viewers dumber. They brainwashed them. Their words, his words. He's probably going to get fired. He's probably going to get fired. But again, and you know, earlier I played a clip from Fox News about the $1 billion being missing from the FEMA funds and things like that. You know, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me because, oh, it's Fox News. They lie for the orange man and all this blah, blah, blah. They're the only ones that'll play this stuff because it's truth. And people like MSNBC aren't going to play it because they don't want the truth out. So what do you want me to do? Believe me, I've called out Fox News at certain times, but they at least put out a majority of the reality of what's going on. You just don't want to believe it. Back to this again. Battle Orange Man Peter sucks. It is what it is, people. I can only try. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And there's plenty of them that won't drink. But I'm just hoping I grab a few of them that are open-minded. Let's talk about, about our candidates now, all right? Because all these lies, what really bothers me is when we're talking about the border, and she keeps saying that the orange man, they had a bill that they wanted to pass that would solve the border issue, and that it's the orange man's fault because he told the Republicans not to vote on it. That's the farthest from the, well, he did say something like that, but the reason behind it is because this border bill doesn't fix the border. It doesn't do anything. Biden alone could have signed by the stroke of a pen. He doesn't need a bill that gives more money away. He doesn't need a bill, nor does she. She hasn't done anything. But here's the real reason on why everything is going awry at the border, and don't blame it on the orange man. Here you go.
Do you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why?
Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue.
Good Lord, is this disingenuous? Let's talk about what was in this supposed border bill. Out of $118 billion, $61.4 billion was for Ukraine. That's 52%. 12% was for Israel. 11% was for border security. So was this a border bill or a foreign aid bill with a border component to it? This is a classic politician move. Instead of actually addressing a targeted issue with specific solutions, load a bill with billions of dollars for unrelated stuff, make the bill hundreds of pages so no one can actually read it, and then blame the other side and say, well, we proposed a solution, but you shot it down. The Biden-Harris administration does deserve credit for finally signing an executive order in June that has substantively decreased illegal immigration across the border. But the Democrats held the executive branch and the House and the Senate for the first 2 years of the Biden administration. Biden has had the ability to unilaterally sign this executive order for 3.5 years. So why is it only now, interestingly enough, during election season, that they're proposing real change?
This guy knows exactly the truth about what he's talking about. He knows exactly what the hell's going on. And that's the truth. Because you take $11 billion out of all that money, they're giving it away to everybody else. But this is what politicians do. This is why the whole that whole network, Congress, senators, all, they need to be cleaned out. They need to be cleaned out and start over again. It's that simple. So then she kept claiming the money. They need the money to get more resources, more Border Patrol agents. You know what they were going to do with those Border Patrol agents? They were going to get more Border Patrol agents because they need more administrators, more people to check in all the people coming over the border. It wasn't to really enforce the border. They talk about the fentanyl coming through their borders, but not the open borders. The people are coming through every day, during night and day. They wanted to get some sniffing machines or this and that. The drugs are coming under the wire. Anyway, long story short, this is nonsense. And they just keep blaming it on the orange man. Blame everything on the orange man. Here's a little FYI. The orange man had that border tighter than a frog's ass before he left. And then all of a sudden they said, come on in, the water's great. And they started coming. And you can't blame all these people in all these countries. Trump said it himself. If he wanted to get rid of all the bad people in the United States and he could throw them into some other country, he would have done the same damn thing. He's just being honest. That's exactly what all these other countries have done now. And we're going to get the blunt of it. And believe me, this is the tip of the iceberg. We have not yet seen the damage, God forbid, that's going to happen to this country, these states, these towns, the families, the people that are going to get caught up in this just by being at the wrong place at the wrong time. God help us all. And if you believe that that border and what they're doing is good, you need your friggin' head examined. You just have no clue because you're out of touch, because it hasn't affected you yet. You better pray it doesn't. You can't replace people. Anyway, I'm going to play some more of this guy. He's got a few good points. Here's our current vice president bragging about her endorsement for president of the United States, which is like the worst endorsement you could possibly get. Here you go.
I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
This is not a flex. The fact that Kamala is touting Dick Cheney's endorsement as a good thing should raise your eyebrows whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. This is Dick Cheney, the same guy who spearheaded the Patriot Act and surveilled American citizens unconstitutionally. This is Dick Cheney, the same guy who pushed for torture of prisoners in Guantanamo Bay. This is Dick Cheney, the same guy who got us into the war in Iraq and to this day will not admit that it was a mistake. Look, Trump has obvious personality flaws. He's rude, he's divisive, he's hostile, he's irresponsible with his rhetoric. And we don't need to make excuses for that. But when I put that in the broader context of an establishment that continues to feed this military-industrial complex that gets us into wars that kill millions of people and cost us trillions of dollars, and this corporate capture by food and pharmaceutical lobbies that continue to poison our air and water and soil and bodies, the choice becomes pretty clear because at minimum, Trump is a necessary evil to deal with a much greater evil that is represented by people like Dick Cheney. This election isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. It's about the people versus the establishment. And if we keep on voting for career politicians who come from the swamp, it will never get drained.
He's right. And I think the problem is most people will not even remember who the hell Dick Cheney is, or what he did in the past. He's the one who instigated the whole Iraqi war with Bush, saying there's weapons of mass destruction over there. See, Dick Cheney had all his hands and tentacles into Halliburton, one of those war defense contractors. They make all that stuff. So they all made $1 gazillion starting another war. Does that sound familiar? That's why we're in 2 of them right now. Getting ready for 3. God forbid. All these people making a ton of money, making war stuff. Don't believe me? That's why our economy's in shit. That's why they cripple us. We're going to be crippled. But all these people are making tons of money off of war. Destroy the country. Destroy Ukraine. Biden's already making deals with Chase Bank and BlackRock and Vanguard, all of them on contracts to rebuild the country. They're going to make money. They make money destroying it, and then they make money rebuilding it. How convenient. But they won't help us. They won't help us. We will end up being a second world country. We don't have to be number one. I keep saying that. We don't have to be number one. We just assume that we will always be number one. Many empires have fallen because of bad leadership. And we're in bad leadership right now. We need a bull. We need a friggin' bull in there right now to get in that China shop and wreck it all so we can get some real people in there that are not bad actors, only in it for themselves to line their own pockets. Here, one last one from this brother. He knows what he's talking about. Pay attention.
Why are so many former Democrats all of a sudden voting for Trump? Elon Musk voted for Obama, voted for Biden, now voting for Trump. RFK Jr. comes from a dynasty of Democrats voting for Trump. I myself voted against Trump twice. Now I'm voting for him. It comes down to tangible results, dysfunctional Democratic Party leadership, and seeing through media misinformation. Being president is a job, and it's really hard to argue that Biden-Harris did that job better than Trump did. Cost of living went up way more under Biden-Harris than it did under Trump. Under Biden-Harris, 2 major wars broke out, whereas Trump signed a peace treaty that finally got us out of Afghanistan, and he brokered another treaty in the Middle East that still holds into this day. Now let's talk about Democratic Party leadership, because this has nothing to do with Trump. It should have been a wake-up call to us all when we saw that Biden had dementia during the debate. Why wasn't he pressured to step down before the primary so that we, the people, could vote for a replacement rather than just getting handed Kamala? And why is Biden still sitting president? Either our country is being run by a guy with dementia, or he's not actually calling the shots, in which case, who is? In fact, Kamala should be president right now. There are plenty of things I dislike about Trump. And the media keeps on misrepresenting things he says, like calling white supremacists very fine people, which he didn't. In reality, he's an unpleasant necessity to correct the situation that Kamala Harris presided over.
I think it's pretty simple. He's saying basically, it's like, so what? Okay, you're not in love with him, but you got to respect what he does. He's got the balls to do it. Who else is going to go in there? They couldn't even get another Democratic person to go up against. They didn't even have a primary. They just put her in there. They're dictating to you, and you're accepting it because they need another puppet in there because she's not going to run the show. She's just going to be a mouthpiece, and she's not even a good one. She can't even fake her way through it. You know, the fake it till you make it kind of thing. She's kind of made it, but she can't fake it, and it's very obvious. Teleprompter broke down on her last week, whatever, for a couple of seconds, and she was, I got nothing in front of me. I got a notepad, a couple of bullet points, and I just go. Good or bad. You either got it or you don't. And she don't. And I'm no pro at politics. I'm getting better. But it doesn't take a friggin' genius to determine right from wrong. But some people are just buried in the reason you're so against it is because they have programmed you, MSNBC and CNNs and all these people, for years. They've pounded it into your brain on how bad the orange man is. They created lawsuits, things that are just so frivolous, and created and told you how awful he is and bent the rules and cheated to make it to where he's awful. Look at him. He's a rapist. He's a horrible human being, blah, blah, blah. Tape don't lie. Go back before he decided to run for president and hear all the people that hate him talk about how much they love him. How do you do that? How do they all just happen to change? It's bullshit, people. It's bullshit. Even a friggin' bird knows how to vote. Even a friggin' bird knows the difference. He's got a bird brain. Vote for Trump. You got birds telling you what to do. They know better. Lastly, I want you there's a little thing on the how do I put this? The worst unsatisfied states, the people that are unsatisfied with their government, and what states are the worst states that are unhappy with their state, their government, all that kind of crap. I mean, and surprisingly, check it out. I think this is like the top 5, but no surprise. Surprisingly, check this out.
Which state is the most dissatisfied with their local government in the United States? Most Americans may not know that the state most satisfied with their local government in the U.S. is Utah. So which state is the most dissatisfied with their local government in the United States? 5th place, Michigan. Michigan, especially Detroit, faces widespread dissatisfaction due to poor infrastructure, failing schools, inequality, slow reforms, and high unemployment rates. 4th place, Oregon. Oregon faces deep political divisions, with rural areas opposing liberal policies, while Portland protests highlight dissatisfaction with governance. 3rd place, New York. New Yorkers, especially in NYC, are dissatisfied with high living costs, taxes, safety issues, transportation problems, and economic inequality. In the 2nd place, Illinois. Illinois often faces financial issues, public debt, and political corruption. Chicago residents are frustrated by poor financial management and weak public services. Before announcing the 1st place, comment in the section below the state you think that is the most dissatisfied with their local government in the United States. Despite its strong economy, the state ranks first struggles with high living costs, taxes, and environmental crises, causing discontent, especially in rural areas. That's California.
Shocking, huh? Shocking. Believe me, I've had it up to here with California. I have. I've remained in California for one reason and one reason only. But things are changing rapidly because I don't see any daylight. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, every single one of those top 5 are all Democratic-run states. And they are running them into the ground. And you've got to think to yourself, are they doing this on purpose? What the hell is you would never believe your government that they would be trying to demolish the United States of America. But they are, folks. They are. I'm bringing you all this information not because I have nothing better to do, and not because I'm trying to stir the pot at all. I'm trying to bring you information that perhaps that you just have not seen. You're sitting on the fence. I know there's a lot of you that we're all on the same page, and there's a lot of you that are looking at me and going, screw Peter. I'm sure I'll get the hate mail and the nasty comments through the week. I'm bringing you this information in hopes that you'll maybe think about it, because this information is not coming directly from my mouth. These are coming from people that you know and listen to. Most of them. Flat out telling you the truth. We're destroying you, and you're going to like it. But I'm telling you, you have a choice. And for right now, we need to make that choice the right choice. Stop being stubborn just because they have embedded the hatred in your brain. Give it a chance. What is this one more jump going to do? I know what it's going to do if we don't make change. We're in big trouble. I don't think we'll ever return back to where we need to be, because this last shebango has just about crippled this country. One more round of this, and that's it. We're goners. Who can take much more of this financially? We need a leader. And she's not a leader, and nobody else in that organization is. We need a bull in the china shop. Somebody who's got the balls to look them in the face and start cleaning house and start getting proper management. We need good management. This DEI and diversifying and worrying about your feelings and all that, feelings belong in the family. Feelings don't work well in business. unfortunately. Understanding is good, but feelings and diversifying and hiring people who aren't qualified for the job does not work in a thriving plus moving forward business. You can't do it. It doesn't work. This is our country, folks. What do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? That's it. I love you guys. I do. We'll see you next week. I want to remind everybody, please, prayers for them in the South Florida, Central Florida area with Hurricane Milton. The worst part I think about having a hurricane is the second worst part about having a hurricane like this is having one during the night when you can't see stuff and you don't know what's going on. I wish it was in the daytime to give them a little more grip on it, because it's horrifying. The sounds, 150 mile an hour winds, you have no idea. And the debris, a pine needle can kill you at 150 miles an hour. Let alone flying objects, pieces of buildings, cars, everything, you name it, glass, metal, I-beams, twist like pretzels. Prayers for them. We'll see what happens by morning. My name is Peter G. I want to thank you for watching. Please, please, please support this show. Please share, follow, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, the official Peter G. Show Facebook page. I know there's many of you on my other two pages that are just Peter Gisellas and Peter G. Gisellas page and all that. Please go over and help the numbers and go on to the official pages. LinkedIn, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey. Don't forget all the audio podcasts. Go and subscribe to iTunes podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's all easy. Just type in Google Peter G Show podcast. But please, please, please support if you think I'm doing something that's worth your time. Please. Share, share, share. I need to reach more people because they are throttling me down. And most of all, I know life is tough. I know you're getting poked. It doesn't feel good. But try to be kind. Try to be kind. All right? You don't have to be an ass. You don't have to take a bunch of crap from people either. Life is just too damn short. So please be kind. Try to anyway. We all they're disbanding us and dividing us for a reason. They want us divided. They want us all hating each other. Don't fall for their crap, their ploy. We're all in this together, folks. We are. When push comes to shove, catastrophes. I don't care if you don't like my show. If there's an emergency and you're in trouble and I can do more to help you, I told her, because I live in an area with a bunch of old people, and some of them are really nice to me and some of them are not so nice to me because I don't follow their agenda. But I flat out told them, I go, if there's an emergency someday, you're going to need me. I'm not, and I'm still going to help you. But I don't see why you're giving me such a hard time, because sometimes they give me a hard time with things because I like to do things that doesn't conform to the, what do they call them, HOAs and things like that. Yeah. I don't stir the pot often, but I just said, you know what? I'm still going to, I'm there. If you need me, I'm there because I'm more capable of helping. So we all need to love one another is I guess what I'm saying. So please, stop this hatred. We all have different things that are important in our lives. There's a lot of give and take. Just chill the hell out. I love you. I do. My name is Peter G. Thank you for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday like clockwork. God willing, I will be here. 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Every Wednesday. Don't forget, you can watch this show on demand. Check out all the shorts during the week. Like, comment, share, follow, all the above. Whatever. I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't care what you think of me. Hopefully, I'm starting to rub you the right way. I love you guys. I truly do. See you next week, and peace out.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Divorce dad, single dad, divorce.